Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Testing should be a basic step in development. A lot of developers actually overlook this step and they say, okay, I'm going to run tests manually. So if we try to run this test manually, we have to open Postman, for example, and try to run each API endpoint independently. This is not a very effective idea. Hence, we have to do automated tests. Now we have to make sure that our testing environment is set up correctly. But I mean with that, we have to make sure that we are running on memory database, not on in production database. So I guess by default it's been done because we have database connection is SQLite instead of MySQL, and it will run the tests on memory instead of a physical database. So now we have to create the first set by running this command, php artisan test product API controller test. It will be a feature test. We will use this thread refresh database to store our models here, which is the product. And we need to override the function setup. So setup function is going to be running every time we launch our test case. We will feed our database or our memory database with some data. This product are gonna be product from the products model, and we will use the factory to create multiple products. And we would like to create 12 products, random products. So Laravel is going to use the factory that we have created and create. And whenever test is done, we will call the teardown function. And for the cleanup, it's gonna be products, and for each product, and each product will be deleted. So after every test, we will delete the product. All the tests should not interfere with each other. So we want to make sure that the pagination is gonna give us a valid data. So the first part of the test is going to be to arrange. So we will have to define the endpoint that we want to test, and now we have to make the API call. Going to act get JSON from the API endpoints. Next, we need to assert. So we're going to assert that we have a success, which stands for HTTP OK, and we need to assert the data. So we have to make sure that we have the right data. So we will make sure that we have this kind of structure in our response. We are not going to test actually the pagination method. Let's come back here. The paginate method has been already tested, of course, by Laravel. So we didn't do anything here. Nothing that's gonna tamper with the default behavior of pagination. So it doesn't mean that we should retest or test again the pagination because it's already been done. We just want to make sure that we have the desired data so we can use it later on our clients. So first of all, the data should have this key, meta, and the links. So the first product should have the ID, title, category, price, and thumbnail. For the meta, should have current page, last page, per page, total number of pages. Now for the links, first link, last link, previous. So this is basically the structure that we should expect from running this API endpoints. In order to test, you can just press here or you can run a command. I'm gonna run this artisan command, php artisan test. I'm going to select the test suite, feature test, and let's filter. So finger crossed, let's see if everything is working fine. We have a problem here in our products model. So this is why we are running tests, because here we have forgot that this can be nullable. This section could be nullable, so we have to run, or we have to add here null safety check. And let's run again the test. The test passed. As you can see here, we have detected a bug, which is the null safety operator that we have forgot actually to do. So testing is very good. So let's move on. Now we need to make sure that we have the correct product data. It's worth mentioning again that I'm not going to give in this tutorial all the possible test cases. The objective here is just to show you guys how to conduct tests in Laravel. So we need to arrange random product. So we're going to pick up random products from the products that we have created. It's going to be this and products, and random. We will arrange again the API endpoint. We will act get JSON. Then we will assert is successful, has successful status. We will assert exact JSON. So we will assert that we have exactly the data that we are expecting. And for the first key, if you do remember, we have data. We will assert have this random products ID and ID. The next one is going to be the title, category, price. We will do as we have done here in the product resource, and the quantity, the media. It's going to be random product and product images. And the last property, I guess, it's description. We have to run this test. Let's go. So 2 tests has passed successfully. So the first one, and you can see here that we have run, of course, the first one that we have already tested before, and we have run the next one, which is get details should give correct products resource. Now we need to make sure that if we pass the wrong products ID, it should give us the response 404. Again, we have to arrange. I have thought of something like creating, getting first of all the existing IDs. Let's take a random ID that will never exist in our database, and we will act as follow: get JSON, and we have defined the endpoint. Going to assert not found. So let's run our test. Great. So now we have to make sure that we have the correct data when we search for the product suggestions. So as usual, we have to arrange search query. We will define our endpoint. And because this API endpoint is a post method, as shown here in the API definition, we have to create a form. And it's going to be just a normal array. We have to pass as a parameter a search input. And to make it look like the user has just typed some few characters, we will do substring from search query, and we will take 3 characters. It's like simulating what's the user gonna do on the when the user is gonna the user is gonna do on the client. So this is the payload, and we have to act as usual. So it's gonna be this post JSON and the payload. Then we need to assert the status OK or 200. We're not going to assert all the details, just a small fragment of the JSON. I really intended to make it simple. I intended to show you guys other stuff that you can do and other functions, available functions for testing or assertions. So there is a function called assert JSON not missing, but JSON fragment. It's expecting at least to have a title, and the title should be the search query that we have done. Actually, it's misleading, this title of or the name of this variable. I'm just gonna call it product title, just for readability purposes. I'm gonna paste this one here. Instead of search query, I will do product title, and we will name this value search query, because at the end of the day, we are going to make assertion depending on the title, not the search query. Let's run. And we have a small problem here. So let's clear this. All right, let's run test once again. And it passes. I don't know why it failed at first, but for the second time, I don't know why. Perhaps it has something to do with timing, or I don't know, the data that has been stored. But let's make sure it's going to pass once again. Third time. Fourth time. Yeah, I don't know why it has failed at first. So the suggestions should give valid suggestions, has passed. The next function that we will test, it's basically the search result. So let's define the random text, the API endpoint, the payload. Let's act this post JSON. We need to make sure that we have response is successful and fragments from the JSON structure. So let's go. Well, the search should give a valid search result when running search, or calling the API.product.search should give us the correct data. So that's great. Now the other way around has to give us empty result. We're going to create non-existent because we know for sure that this title does not exist on our database. And the endpoint payload, we are going to make sure that we have success status. And so the JSON fragment with data is empty array. Let's run our test. We have a problem. So let's see what's going on here. Enable to find the JSON fragment data. So there is basically a typo. That's why I really hate to hard code things. So here we have called it search query, which is, no wonders we have here successfully run the test. So instead of search input, it's gonna be search query. Yeah, this is so stupid. And here it has to be search query. Let's see. Great. So there is no such a thing as search query. And here it's going to give us empty because this value is going to be null. This value is going to be null. And here it's going to be an empty string. So the query is going to be title like an empty string. So it's going to give us all the products in our database, which is bad. So here we need to do a guard, or if you will. So if request search equal null, return the product is going to be an empty array. So let's run again our test. Right. Yeah. With the same thing here, we need to come back to this search. Search suggestions has this one. So let's come back again to this with the same manner. So I guess we will do products here because products are empty string or empty list. Let's run our test. What we have done, actually, it's very good. This is why testing is very crucial. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial. We're going to continue testing for the last part of this section, which is the user API controller test in the user to make sure that the user controller is working perfectly fine. I hope you liked the video and happy coding.